We have some negative Trustpilot reviews. Let's talk about it. Even though 96% of our Trustpilot reviews are a solid 5 stars, you want to address to others. We know you're reading them. We would too in your shoes. So let's dive in, but first, a quick intro. Hello, my friends. I'm the DeFi Doctor, the head of education here at Decentralized Masters. Let's start with the most scathing, looking at only the 1-star reviews people have left us. Starting at the top, a lady named Lenia McCrary left a review criticizing Decentralized Masters for terminating her access and giving her a full refund. This isn't a decision we make easily or often. It's a big part of the reason why we have a thorough qualification process. We work hard to make sure that our program can be valuable to the person considering joining. Regrettably, in Lenia's case, we misjudged. We tried our hardest to be of value to her, but when we realized our program wasn't sufficient to help Lenia with her personal problems, we made the call to refund her fully. It's not how we like to do things, and we're sorry for how things worked out. Now, next we have a post by someone named Bruce. Bruce says he felt pressured by our sales team, specifically by the deadlines we set in place and our team being directive. Now, we do indeed have deadlines when we speak to a member considering joining, but they're not a sales tactic. Those deadlines exist to ensure both parties are on the same page after the conversation ends, and that there's clarity around when the next conversation is. And there are indeed several conversations that are part of that process. We don't just welcome anyone into our community. When we speak to a potential member, we assess whether they will benefit, whether they can pay for the program without causing themselves financial harm, and even whether they could pose a threat to our existing community members. I'm not at all happy that Bruce was left with this impression, and wish that I had equal opportunity to speak to him myself. I doubt he'd see me as having a high-pressure attitude. Moving along, there's a post here from Eric Golu. He became frustrated when he received text messages despite blocking some of those numbers those texts came from. I'd be frustrated too if I was him. No one likes to be annoyed by something when they decide against doing that thing. But if I was him, I would have simply replied "stop" in capital letters to any of those messages he received. That would have ensured he didn't receive any more messages from any other number. It's a compliance requirement we have in place. Unfortunately though, it seems that this wasn't enough for Eric to conclude that our program was a scam. We're saddened by that, but Eric never saw the program. He didn't make it far into the process of joining. His conclusion is based on the text he received, and while they can annoy someone who doesn't want to receive any of those texts, the only way a product can be considered a scam is if that product isn't what it was advertised. Sadly, Eric never got his hands on our program to make an impartial judgment. The next review is by a gentleman named Mike. The review makes it clear that Mike never joined the program either. He was off-put because he felt the product we offer is deceptive. But that's not a conclusion you can reach if you haven't seen the product itself. Now, yes, to his other point, the program can be expensive at the highest end, but that cost goes towards paying the experts that offer over 50 hours per week in live Q&A sessions. It may be outside of some people's budgets, and that's completely fine. Again, we won't push anyone to purchase something that they can't afford. Mike says we don't have references, but there are over 400 5-star reviews on the same platform he's leaving his own thoughts on. Aside from that, we have video testimonials from our members on our website. We'll share a link to that page in the description below, just to prove the no references claim are completely false. As far as 1-star reviews, we're done. 4 reviews is not nothing. Each piece of feedback left by anyone is taken very seriously by the entire team here. We wish their experiences could have been better. Let's switch tracks for now and dive into those 2-star reviews. Not quite 1-star, but definitely nowhere near the 5-star service we pride ourselves on providing. So let's address these comments. The first one is coming from Herbie. Herbie says the program is really expensive and ultimately not worth the cost of continuing. Herbie was a member for over 6 months. For the first couple of months, she spent one-on-one time with our mentors, attending live sessions, and went through the entire program. She got her wallet securely set up, bought some crypto, and generated yield on that crypto within DeFi. Her comment doesn't dispute that she found value here, but that the cost of continuing with Decentralized Masters once her initial membership ended wasn't something she could justify. That's understandable in Herbie's case. Despite being very active in the first couple of months, Herbie sadly did not stay engaged in the program as a sudden life shift demanded more of her attention. Had that not happened, we're very confident she would have been successful enough to cover the cost of her membership and have a significant sum left over. The next post is from Amanda M. And there's a few points to address in this one. Amanda was off-put when she discovered that she and her husband were being offered a spot in the program for $16,000 instead of the $25,000 their friend had paid. Perhaps we could have communicated better to avoid this, but the reality is that each of those price points provides different tiers of access. $25,000 comes with full access to the program and some exclusive features, including twice monthly exclusive sessions with our founders, research reports, additional course material on DeFi lending and borrowing, and the much beloved strategy room, wherein Tyler teaches everything he knows about trading methodically. Now, the $16,000 package doesn't come with those features, but at that tier, members are still part of the mastermind. That means they have access to more than 50 hours of live sessions weekly, their own mentor who they can call, text, or email for help at any time, and the full DeFi Accelerator course, of course. Of course, the higher tier of access has access to all of that too. Finally, Amanda remarks that the press release articles about Decentralized Masters on investor.com, nasdaq.com, and others seem not to be authentic. For better or worse, it is widely common practice for companies to publish press releases and articles on these platforms and others like them. It's just the way things are. We don't love it or hate it. It's something companies do to continue to be successful. With that said, these platforms wouldn't risk hits to their credibility by publishing an article coming from any risky or untrustworthy source. So there is credibility there. And with that, we're done with all the 2-star reviews. Let's move on up to 3-star reviews. Some may consider this average, but it falls short below our standards. Let's see what the reviews have to say. First up is a review from LaRuth Hartwell. Her experience reads as being mostly positive, but that the learning curve remained a negative. She got all the support she needed from our team, but even with that, the learning process can sometimes be difficult for people who are less computer savvy. Since this review, we've completely overhauled the videos in the DeFi Accelerator course to ensure that the learning curve doesn't feel as steep to members in the future. The next comment is from Douglas Leifer. Douglas says that his original review was 2 stars, but he's since bumped it up to 3 stars. The reason was that our team reached out to offer all the help we could when we learned he'd been having a bad experience. As far as his criticisms go, they primarily revolve around the DeFi Accelerator course before it was overhauled, but acknowledges that the changes we've made had a significant improvement. We're glad he feels this way, but wish we could have made his experience seamless from the beginning. And last, we have a set of 7 4-star reviews. While these are widely considered good reviews, they're still below the perfection we strive for. They're worth discussing for that reason, but we'll go through these a little bit more quickly. Starting at the top, Jack reports a positive experience but was unable to engage with the program for several months due to commitments in his personal life. He's pleased we offered those months for free, added to his membership, and this is something we've done many times in the past. Alex is next, an individual with very high standards according to him. No specific complaints here, just leaving the opportunity for improvement. I respect that wholeheartedly. Following that, Yuri's post provided us feedback that went directly into our DeFi Accelerator overhaul, which now has a stronger focus on investment strategy. Next up, we have Floyd, who didn't have anything negative to say in his review, but kind words for our mentor Anakin. Sonia left the review in a bit of a rush as she was trying to contact our team, but when we got a hold of her, we were able to get her issues resolved quickly. Diane's only comment that gave her a 4-star experience instead of 5 was the learning curve. I completely understand. I'm proud of the work the team's done to make the program better and help members avoid this feeling as a result. And last but certainly not least, we have Joe. I'm happy to report that Joe only had great things to say about the support that he received from our team. Makes me smile. Let's round things out a little bit more on a wholesome note. For every negative review, we have 27 positive ones. We could spend hours going through all of them, but we won't do that. We'll go through a few just to balance things out a little. Let's start off with Richard Womack. His shout out goes straight to one of our top mentors, John, for helping him learn how to research cryptocurrencies and stay on top of the news cycle. I couldn't be more proud. Our 50+ hours of Zoom sessions weekly are really paying off. Wade Red gives many thanks to our beloved Tristan for helping him secure a 70% profit on his portfolio. Incredible work leads to incredible results. Marty Katz thanked Tristan as well for showing him how to earn an easy 14% yield on US dollars. Try finding that in traditional finance systems. Greg Pierce gives a heartwarming shout out to Rodrigo, one of our oldest mentors, for his endless guidance through the program. He's so impressed, he thinks Rodrigo should be teaching at a university level. Honestly, he certainly could. Nathan Egging also gives Rodrigo a salute for a 68% profit on his holdings. Fantastic stuff. The deeper you look, the more gratitude you'll find for our mentors. They sincerely care about our members. Thanks for sticking around to the end. We've gone through the 15 posts out of 418 that reported a less than stellar experience. You can go through the remaining 403 if you're interested in all the positive things our members have to say about us. We won't do that in this video because A, that would make this video far too long, and I need to get back home to my family. The other reason is that we're not here to toot our own horn. We wanted to address any negative feedback that we've received. Much of that feedback has led to direct improvements in our program and processes. And we're grateful to anyone who took the time to leave us that feedback. But that about wraps it up for today. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to leave them in the comments and we'll get back to you with answers. Stay sharp, my friends, stay decentralized, and I'll see you in the next one.